Hello, guys. We are back. And today we're actually going to talk about the third day of conferences this year. That's right, because the first day we had Bethesda.
Yes.
Then we had all the busy ones yesterday. And today we're hitting up Nintendo. So Nintendo happened not too long ago. You know, they did their digital event like always. So I guess it was an interesting turn of events. What they did, they actually, last year they had Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
They kind of did this Robot Chicken thing. It was really funny. And, you know, Reggie and Iwata, they're like all fighting each other. And like that was really awesome.
that was pretty
this year they did something a little different. This year they started out and they were like Muppets.
Yeah, which I thought was hilarious. I was getting into it right off the bat.
Yeah,
this is fun.
They always have. Nintendo's very good about being fun. And from that, they kind of like transformed into Star Fox creatures. Like they turned into Fox, Falco, and Peppy Hare.
Like slowly, they kept going away from the camera and coming back on, and all of a sudden, I don't know whoever was in the middle. Was that
I think it was
Iwata?
Yeah, Iwata
had like a fox mouth, and then like one of them had ears, and
So that's actually pretty cool. So we knew right from the beginning, we knew Star Fox was going to be there. I'm kind of surprised they started with it. You think they would end with it. But they came out and they talked about Star Fox, and it's coming out this holiday. So holiday 2015. They showed off a lot of really cool stuff you can do in the game.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your R-Wing, but it can actually transform. It transformed, and they showed the Landmaster. It transformed into this thing that it was almost like it was like in a running mode, where like the wings transformed into legs, you could run around. Which is actually reminiscent of Star Fox 2 for Super Nintendo. I know that game was never officially released, but like in screenshots, I know there's ROMs floating out there in places, and that was in that game. So I thought that was kind of interesting they had that in there.
Yeah, Miyamoto himself said this was something in Star Fox 2, and even though we never got released, it was a feature we liked, so we wanted to bring it into this game. My thing is, it didn't look as pretty as I wanted it to, and that's weird for me because I'm not really good with looks anyway, because I don't see as perfectly as everybody, but I could even tell it for a Wii U game, which a lot of people, diss the Wii U, but every first-party game that has come out has been absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Most, like Super Mario 3D World, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, those have been beautiful. This was like, it had the look of the original Star Fox games.
Sure.
Very boxy, it was clean.
Yeah, it actually reminded me of like the GameCube Star Fox games. Like those were bright and colorful, but they didn't push graphically. It did the best the GameCube could do at the time. And this is what it looked like. It was very limited in scope graphically. But it'll still be a good game. I mean, that looked like a cool game. And they showed off some of the gamepad features. So you'll be able to do like almost like a first person kind of view inside the gamepad.
Yeah.
You can move that around to like aim better.
I don't want to undersell it because I'm actually very excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
That made me more excited for it. It seems like it's a traditional Star Fox in the sense that it's going to be short plays, and you then just try and do it in different ways, different vehicles and stuff. But it's going to be great. It's probably one of the best games they showed.
Yeah, and it's going to be another Star Fox, and if you love Star Fox, you're going to love this game.
Yeah, it's
really
good.
I think part of the reason we weren't as hyped is we knew it was coming. They've been saying it was coming for a while. We know it's called Star Fox Zero now.
Yeah.
So that's hitting soon. And then afterward, they did a little developer interview with Miyamoto, who kind of talked about the game.
Yeah, and Platinum Games is the one that was making it with him. So this is
you
the
said
game
you read that
Platinum
somewhere,
Games.
but it didn't say that anywhere in the video. It didn't say it like they never mentioned it.
It didn't. It was reported by news outlets right after.
Sure.
Miyamoto, right when they did the Treehouse afterwards, Miyamoto was talking.
But you think because for me, I feel like Platinum Games is huge, and they're awesome, and they're very. Let's just say they're very proud of themselves because I love Platinum Games, but whenever a Platinum game starts, it's like Platinum Games, like they put it like real big at the beginning.
I don't think
and they never
this
even
was,
mentioned it.
But I think because it was Miyamoto's project, he just kind of worked in cooperation with them, and this wasn't their game. I think it just revealed that was the team that worked with them.
Yeah.
But Platinum is also doing Scalebound.
They're working on a lot of different stuff, which we'll get to when we talk about Square
a
Enix.
lot of different stuff. Yeah.
But one cool thing they were doing, besides the whole Muppet thing, they're really big on pushing Super Mario Maker this year because that's coming out this year in September. And so what they did for kind of like the segues in between sections, Mario is running through levels and he would hit a mushroom and he would transform into a different character.
Yeah.
And that would sort of tell you, okay, here's what's coming up next. And from there, they started talking about Amiibo. They started talking about Amiibo and Skylander.
Yeah, and that when they first unveiled it, and they said, Amiibo is big, and then all of a sudden I didn't see any words, and they just said the universe of Skylanders. I was thinking, are they going to make like a Nintendo world, like you put your Amiibo in and it unlocks that? That would be epic. That's what a lot of us people have been wanting. It was just a partnership.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
pretty much what they're doing, they're making special amiibo of Donkey Kong and of Bowser that will work in the new Skylanders Superchargers. Is the new game coming out, and they each have an amiibo and a vehicle. So they've got those that'll work. But the cool thing about these amiibo, I mean, they work in the game, so it's actually pretty cool. Wii U version of Skylanders. You can play as Donkey Kong, you can play as Bowser. But one cool thing you can do on the bottom of this amiibo, it's first amiibos to do this. There's a switch. And if you flip it, it can work as a regular amiibo in any other Nintendo game.
Yeah.
So not only does it work in Skylanders to save all your progress through Skylanders, like Skylanders does, but if you want to have, your Donkey Kong amiibo for Smash Brothers, your Bowser amiibo for Mario Party or whatever, you can switch it, and then it works in those games as well.
I wonder if what they're trying to do there is just, they don't want to go all out and make a Nintendo World type project because that's just a lot of work, and they got better games for them that they could make. Not necessarily better, but for them in their opinion. But I wonder if they're just trying to make that partnership, and then also realize there's a lot of young people out there who play Skylanders on the Wii U, and it's one of the more popular games, and it kind of gets them into Amiibo in that sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe like, oh, what's this Amiibo, and then draws them into a Nintendo audience more. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Not maybe a big announcement, but cool.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing people were disappointed about, Nintendo came out and said The Legend of Zelda Wii U will not be at the show. So I felt like they kind of had to fill in that gap. So from there, they actually showed off a brand new game. No one knew about it. It's called The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. And it's pretty much like Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventures, where it's more like, you're solving puzzles and stuff with your friends, kind of playing through a Zelda game. But that game was 4-player. This game is 3-player, and part of the reason, it kind of gave a very odd reason for it being 3-player. In the game, you can do this thing called the totem mechanics, what they call it. We can all stack on top of each other and become like this three-person tall.
A new way to solve puzzles. Yeah.
And they said, well, it didn't work with 4 people. It's too tall. So they made it, and they said, we're going to make this game 3-player. So, I mean, it looked just like not Skyward Sword, like Four Sword Adventures. And it's actually the same art style as Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
Link Between Worlds,
they use the exact same engine as Link Between Worlds. So if you can imagine those two games kind of mashed together,
is this one you would get?
probably not, because I wasn't a fan of Four Sword Adventures. Like I played it. That's actually one I got through the Ambassador program of the 3DS.
Okay.
Still didn't play it. Now with this game, I believe they said you're always gonna have 3 people on the screen. So even if you try to play it by yourself, I think they said there's AI in it that control the other characters.
Okay.
This game is actually coming out this fall. And one interesting thing for this game that Zelda games don't normally do, you can actually change your armor and your costumes, and it gives you new abilities. So, sort of to help your teammates out. So, I mean, it also is going to have online multiplayer. So if we're not together, we can still play it online, which is pretty cool.
Which is cool. I just wish, and this will show more as we kind of go over it more, but I really wish Nintendo beforehand, they told us Zelda wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's fine to expect that. But I wish they would have said, we are largely focusing on 3DS. Because if I would
there
have
was a lot of 3DS.
If I would have expected that, I would have been more energized about some of the announcements.
Sure.
Or the discussions. But I was waiting on that next big Wii U game.
Yeah,
and
it
that
never came. Yeah.
And
I feel like with Zelda not being there left a big hole. Because, I mean, the next thing they did, it was still Zelda. But it wasn't the Zelda we wanted.
Yeah.
This got leaked like a few days before the conferences. Hyrule Warriors is coming to 3DS.
Yeah.
They're pretty much porting over the Wii U version. It's going to have all the Wii U DLC, and they're adding characters. They're adding Tetra and King of Red Lions from Wind Waker. So they're playable characters, and they'll transfer over into a Wii U version. And they said that's coming first quarter of 2016. So, I mean, that's another one we already knew was coming.
Yeah.
But they treat it like a first, world premiere deal.
And that's a great game. So many people out there have 3DSs.
Yeah.
Not everybody has Wii U. Very few people have Wii U compared to 3DS. So those of you with the 3DS get that game. Like it's great.
And, I mean, it's a great game. That game is awesome, but I don't see myself buying it again. I loved it. I played through it, spent a lot of time on it, but I don't see myself buying it again.
Yeah.
Another thing people have been asking for a while from Nintendo, we want a new Metroid game. Give us a new Metroid Prime game. Well, they did. It was not what we wanted. I guess not what we expected.
Yeah.
They showed off a game called Metroid Prime Federation Force, and it is a 4-player co-op game through the Metroid Prime universe. You're not Samus. You're like these like I don't know, little soldier guys. It's actually Blast Ball that we saw the other night. We talked about earlier. But the Nintendo World Championships is actually a mini game inside this game, and that's why so many people thought, "Wow, that looks a lot like Metroid," because it is. But it's not the Metroid we wanted.
No, it's not. I was actually kind of shocked that Retro didn't reveal any game. A lot of people were thinking they were working on Metroid, but I mean, unless they did, and I just didn't see that they were working on one of these projects we talked about. But even so, I know that there could be a Metroid coming. I actually was interested in this and what they were trying to do. Like, it looks like a lot of fun. It's team like hunter kind of missions, like co-op hunter missions. It's basically the 3DS Nintendo version of
Metroid Prime Hunters.
or Rainbow Six or something
sure,
like that.
sure.
Like
Kind-
in
well,
a Metroid
kind of.
Prime world,
Sure.
maybe. I don't know what they're trying
And
to
they
do.
said
but, like,
that's coming in 2016 though. So I mean
Yeah.
that's coming out next year. I mean you're right though. There was a lot of 3DS stuff because the next few announcements. Well, they showed off new Fire Emblem coming to 3DS.
that I've been excited for a while. I just knew about it.
Yeah.
Like that is going to be amazing.
Sure,
but I
and
just
they
knew
said
about
the
it.
America in Japan it's called Fire Emblem If, and here in America it's going to be called Fire Emblem Fates. They showed off a brand new trailer for it, and they said it's coming in 2016. So at least now we know it's coming. We
Yeah,
have
and that's going to be an incredible 3DS game.
We have a name for it and everything. So, and then they also showed off another trailer for Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I didn't have any interest in before.
Never played the Shin Megami Tensei
Yeah.
series. I know they're popular for a lot of people. Thought about getting a demo one time, but I just never got into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they said that's coming 2016. So I mean that's another big deal.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they showed a new trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles X, which we've been all waiting for a while. It's out in Japan, and they said when's it coming to America? When's it coming to America? At the end of the trailer, they said it's coming out December 4th.
Okay.
So they showed off. I mean, that's a game we know is coming, just like the other ones. We knew this game was coming, but this one they said it's coming out in December, which is actually I thought it was going to come more in the fall. I mean,
Yeah.
at the very end of the year, it's kind of like wow. But
Well-
they did promise it was coming 2015, and it is coming 2015.
Think about it. It is a good time too.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen what other companies are unleashing in November, December's a nice spot. They can hit the holiday crowd
Yeah.
in that season, and they can really push it, the advertising of it during the weeks of Christmas. You know,
Sure.
that's-
So I mean, I don't know.
perfect.
We'll see. I mean, that's a game I know I'm going to buy. I've been waiting for it for
Oh,
a
yeah,
while.
that's-
I just wish I could get it a little sooner.
That's one. That's one that I think we've known about it for so long
Yeah.
that it's become underrated.
Yeah,
You know, like
sure.
in a sense, like people are like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Xenoblade Chronicles X.
We'll just call it the Watchdog effect. How about that?
Yeah, yeah,
Because that game we heard for so long.
for so long.
Sure.
But this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah. And then we had another 3DS announcement, one we already knew about, Animal Crossing Happy Home Builder. With this one, it's not a normal Animal Crossing game. What it is, you're a realtor inside the world of Animal Crossing, and you have to like sell homes and you have to design them. But you don't only sell houses. You actually, you design schools and like different buildings at the town. So there's all sorts of stuff you do. But it's not a normal Animal Crossing game. This is more like a downloadable 3DS game, and they showed off the amiibo cards again. So those are coming to it. But for me, I love Animal Crossing, but I have absolutely no interest in Happy Home Builder.
I've never played Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I know I'm one of those people who love Nintendo, but I've never played Animal Crossing. It seemed okay. Like again, what I kept seeing in this was constant, pretty decent, fun-looking 3DS games. Some of them a little more than others. I'm actually more excited about Metroid than
Sure.
I am, like, say, the Zelda one, even though I love Zelda. But there was not a wow in
Yeah,
any of them.
yeah.
You know, it's
And then
Fire
another
Emblem I'm pumped for, but
Right.
yeah.
another thing we have been demanding for a while, not really demanding, but really wanting, Animal Crossing on Wii U. And guess what? They are giving us Animal Crossing on Wii U, but it
Yes?
is not the Animal Crossing we
No.
want again.
No.
That's a lot of what this conference is. It's like they're like, that game you wanted, we're giving it to you, but it's not what we wanted. But this one is actually called Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and they actually showed off a brand new line of Amiibo. They're Animal Crossing. They've got 4 Amiibo coming out for that, but it's a board game. It's kind of like Monopoly or Mario Party. You roll the dice and you go. Although I think it's more like Monopoly than Mario Party because I didn't see any mini games. It was mostly just roll the dice, go around, and you either get coins or whatever. It was just a plain board game that's coming this holiday. So they showed that off. So that's one where I was like, as soon as it happened, I'm like, it's Animal Crossing finally coming to Wii U.
Yeah,
and then I'm like,
they showed Amiibos on
yeah.
the controller and stuff.
And there was like,
then,
what is this? Because then she started. Then they had Isabel come out. And she's going around a board and like, what is this? Is this a joke? And then it kept on going. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like KK Slider and all the Animal Crossing people. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! This is not what I want.
in defense of Nintendo, they've always been a company that they make what they want to make and what they think will be fun. And the consumers cry and cry and cry and complain. But
Who, us?
Yeah. But in the end, they end up proving us wrong more than 50% of the time, in that these games are actually a lot of fun. Potentially all these games, like I'm looking at it, I don't want to be too hard on them for the fact that I know a lot of them are probably going to be more fun than what we're going to say they look like right now. So definitely don't walk away from this like this was terrible, but it's not what we expected.
Yeah, but Nintendo always has a way of surprising us. So you never know. And then they showed off another trailer for Yoshi's Woolly World, which is actually coming out in the UK, I think next week. And we didn't know when it's coming to America. They announced it's coming out October 16th. And the more they show of that game looks so good. Because they showed off gameplay before the Nintendo World Championship on that.
And that was...
And the worlds they were showing, it looks awesome.
And the way it played was... so good.
Because I wasn't really a big fan of Kirby's Epic Yarn, but the more I see of Yoshi's Woolly World, the more hyped I get for that game. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, those of you who were maybe semi disappointed by the new Yoshi's Island kind of thing, the one that came out, which you liked it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a little easy, but probably the last fourth of that game was actually pretty challenging. I really enjoyed it.
This one is the game to get. This is a good reason to own a Wii U. It is. It's one that's flying under the radar now that we've known about it again for so long.
Yeah.
But
and after that, they showed more 3DS stuff. They showed off Yokai Watch. And Yokai Watch is something that is very, very popular in Japan. They've never brought it to America. They've had quite a few games in Japan. And honestly, I don't know much about it. I mean, pretty much all it said was you collect these yokai and you add them to your watch. And I think it was kind of like Pokemon where you battled them. I'm not really sure. I mean, I watched the trailer and I was still kind of confused. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I never really looked into it before. I know that a lot of people...
I know some people are excited about that because, I mean, they brought all sorts of crazy Japanese stuff to America now, like Tamagotchi Life and all these odd games you never think would work in America. And they bring them here and they work pretty well.
Yeah.
So Yokai Watch, for those fans of those kind of games, will probably love it. And that comes out this holiday 2015.
Yeah.
After that, they showed up another 3DS game. This one was actually a surprise. No one really saw this one coming.
Yeah.
This is Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Yeah.
And what this is, they're taking the world of Mario and Luigi, which is a great RPG series, and they're taking Paper Mario, which is an awesome RPG series, and they're kind of mashing them together. So they didn't really explain how it happens, but Paper Mario and Paper Peach and all them end up in the Mario and Luigi universe. And they kind of have to help themselves. It leaned much more heavily on the Mario and Luigi series versus Paper Mario, which I was kind of disappointed about.
But it interacted the world.
But I enjoy both. But if I had a choice between Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario, I would actually take Paper Mario. I'll still pick this up because I actually really enjoyed Dream Team. Dream Team was a good series.
Okay.
But I actually like Paper Mario more than the Mario and Luigi RPG series.
Okay.
But it still looked awesome. That comes out next spring.
I feel like with all these announcements, if they just didn't show up at E3, but every month showed 2 or 3 of these, they would have been huge Nintendo Directs.
Sure.
But being at E3 with all the hype of every other company, and that's the one time that people hype their next 3 years of games, and they just say, well, we're not going to talk too much about next year except for a couple games and early games, then it all kind of fell flat.
Sure. Yeah, and I agree. I think the problem with Nintendo, they showed content, but it wasn't a lot of content that we want. It wasn't for us.
Yeah.
And so the games we really wanted, we wanted a new Metroid Prime. I'm like, I gotta have a new Metroid Prime,
or
and they give us
Metroid
one.
Something.
Oh, exactly.
A shooter.
But it's it wasn't even Samus. It was like a co-op multiplayer shooter. And I would love Animal Crossing on Wii U. They gave it to us, but it's a board game. It's I don't know. This is a very interesting year.
We wanted a quote-unquote hardcore story.
Exactly.
And
we're
we
not
didn't get
getting
any that had a hardcore story.
Yeah.
Lots of great gameplay, lots of great-looking games. One I'm actually, towards the end, I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
But not a great story, other than Xenoblade, which you've known about for a while. And Fire Emblem, too. But.
Yeah, so, I mean, the other thing they had, they showed off Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. So they're actually bringing Mario Tennis back.
That's the one. That's the one I'm pumped for.
Sure, and that comes out this holiday, so it's actually coming pretty soon. And we didn't see this one coming. And I loved all the Mario sports games, Mario Baseball, Mario Tennis, Mario Strikers, the soccer game. So good. I wish they would bring that back.
Yeah, tennis was always my favorite. Growing up, my friends and I would have birthday parties, and my friend had it on his Nintendo 64. We would have tournaments and see who would win, and that was, I mean, just... It was great. It's always been a great series.
And that's what I'm actually super excited for. I mean, I've always enjoyed that series.
I wonder, though, with the tablet, are they going to do anything with the tablet, or is everybody just going to use Wii Motion?
Well, when they had Mario Tennis, what's it called? Mario Tennis, not World Tour. That was the golf one, right? They had one on 3DS. I can't remember what it was called. With that one, all the touchscreen did, you tapped to do your specials. You could like tap it to change the way you're going to hit the ball. That's all it was. You could add spin. You could do your specials. I mean,
So
it was just like a
maybe-
big. It was like big buttons on the touch.
Maybe you can control your character with the tablet. Let's say you're playing
Sure.
like 1 or 2 player. You'll probably be able to use the Pro controller and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I
But I would
assume so.
assume you could use motion controls.
They'll
At
probably
very
add
least
that.
have
Yeah,
the buttons.
yeah.
So
I mean, that'll be a good one. I mean, that's one I'll absolutely pick up. It's not one I'm super hyped for. I just know I'll enjoy it. It's like
Yeah.
a comfort game. You know you're going to enjoy it, and
it's
it's worth it.
because of the lack of big pushes. That one I'm more hyped for on
Sure.
Nintendo's lineup than others. Yeah.
And the final game they talked about, which we kind of knew they were going to end with,
Yeah.
because they, like I said, all the segments in between were Mario Maker
Mm-hmm.
and him jumping in and grabbing different mushrooms and transform into somebody. But one thing we didn't realize about that,
Yeah.
that's actually in the game,
Which is awesome. Yeah.
They're doing full amiibo compatibility. So, and what they showed off was, hey, you want Mario to look like the Wii Fit Trainer, and they put the Wii Fit Trainer amiibo on there, and poof, Mario turned into Wii Fit Trainer. And I mean, they showed Mario turn into Link, and they showed Mario turn
Now,
into
they
Mars.
kept showing him as 8-bit. I wondered
Yes.
how it would look in the new Super Mario
I
Brothers
don't know.
or one of those. I
And
would love
how
to.
are the physics going to change? Because Mario jumps completely differently than Link, or
I'm
so
sure
I
it'll
don't know.
function the same way.
I don't- it'll be
don't think they're
interesting.
going to change that. I think they're just going to change the
Sure.
look. I just wonder how it, or can you only do it in the original Super
I
Mario
don't-
Brothers?
They
That'd be-
didn't really explain it. They just said, "Oh, it's coming. Pay attention."
Yeah.
The other thing they showed off, they're actually releasing a special booklet.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it teaches you how to make levels, which is actually pretty cool. Miyamoto went through and said, "Here's how I make a level," and he said, "I start with this, and I make it a little more difficult." And he said, we always make that the second world. And we'll go back and scale things down, make it a little bit easier for the first world. They kind of showed you, here's how you
Yeah.
train people to play your game. And it was actually really cool.
Afterwards, he was making him and the other creator were creating levels live for people, and so
Yeah.
the Treehouse. Watch the Treehouse this week because
It's
they got
pretty
some
cool.
great stuff
Yeah.
going on. But yeah,
And that's actually coming out September 11th. So that's what they ended on. After that, they ended off with like this montage of people, singing the Mario Brothers song, and like it was okay. I mean,
And
they
they announced,
launched
like,
this
that
new website
website.
where you can go and
Yeah.
upload videos of you, being Mario, and
It
like
was-
it's all for the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
I
is
felt-
what it was all for.
I felt like they were playing on sentiment with Mario has been a part of people's lives. It's a huge part of pop
Yeah.
culture, one of the most iconic video game figures, which is true. I just think that E3 that's not the focus for
Yeah.
people. So our initial reaction is kind of or we don't care.
Mhm.
Whereas in reality it was a nice touchy
Yeah, I mean, it was all
moment.
about
Like, it was great.
Sure, showing their connection to the public and how ingrained Mario is into the history. Just
Yeah.
the video games. In
I
general.
respect what Nintendo's doing.
Yeah.
I just wasn't as excited as some other conferences.
Sure. And honestly, of the three big conferences, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, Nintendo definitely had the weakest. Honestly, for me, I would give it a C. The reason I would give it a C is, I mean, everything they showed was, majority of what they showed was solid, but it wasn't what I was looking for. There was no big wow moment for me. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
all going to be awesome. Like, I know I'm really going to enjoy the Mario and Luigi Paper Jam game. I know I'm going to enjoy Mario Tennis. I'm obviously going to pick up Star Fox, but there was nothing in there that wowed me.
It's definitely an interesting
Sure.
question to think about. What is E3 supposed to be for people who watch it? Because
Sure.
it's supposed to be for the business side of it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for us. Nintendo, it seems like to them, E3 is we're going to focus at this big event on what's coming out this year or in the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe unveil one or two hidden projects, but mostly focus on here and now.
Yeah.
For Microsoft, it seems to be, okay, now we're trying to do what we can to catch up, show our technology, interact with people. And these are the games we're making. Most of their focus here. For Sony, it was building a lot of hype. It's in
Sure.
similar ways to Microsoft. Microsoft and Sony is like, let's build hype. Sony's was a lot more down the line.
Sure.
So like half of Sony's games aren't coming out till 2016, maybe 2017.
Yeah, some are even 2018. I mean,
But-
because they said they haven't even really started working on that Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and
I mean, they
Shenmue
just
was a Kickstarter, so
Yeah,
it's like
so that's-
literally
that's
hasn't
2
even
years
started
out.
production.
So, yeah,
which
Sony-
which is great that they're doing
Yeah,
that.
Sony
but
was all
they're-
hype.
They're
Sure.
playing a lot on hype. Nintendo is not as great of a feeling, but
Sure.
it's here now.
Now, one thing I will say, getting out of that, they even said at the beginning of the conference, next year we're talking about NX, and with how little they showed of the Wii U, I'm like, Wii U's it's dead, which is sad because I mean, there's so many really good games on that system, but I
is.
just felt like Nintendo is like, we're moving on, and like because they even said next year is going to be the big year where they're talking about mobile and talking about NX. That's what they said at the beginning.
Well, they also said they're Universal Studios, how their partnership.
Oh yeah,
there.
and they're going to
mentioned
talk.
that,
Yeah,
which is
talk about the theme park
that'll
stuff a
be
little bit.
interesting.
So I feel like next year is going to be all about the new system. So Wii U, it might get a couple more games showing up next year, but honestly, I feel like Legend of Zelda, whatever the Wii U game is going to be called, that's going to be the swan song for the Wii U, and it's done. But if you don't have a Wii U yet, there's still so many good games to get on it. So just check it out, pick it up. Maybe they'll do a price drop soon.
I still think Retro's game. They're gonna come out with one Wii U game before everything is said and done, and it'll be a good one.
But okay, real quick, I guess letter grade wise, like I said, I would give it a C. What would you give Nintendo?
I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Okay.
I have more respect for what they were going for.
Sure.
I wasn't as excited by it, but in the scope of things, the way I look at E3 over the next year, what am I going to play? What am I going to get excited for and still be excited for 6 months from now? A lot of what was shown at other conferences is going to die down because it's hype for a distant future. This one is, okay, there was a lot of interesting games that over the next year I'll get to play and see and get my hands on. So I give them credit for what they're doing there. I say C, B minus.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on Nintendo. There's one more conference left. We're going to hit up and watch Square Enix, and we'll get back to you as what we think. So we'll see you soon.